call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline bling. That can only mean one thing.
It can only mean one thing when you're tuned into this thing that we call the Culinary Hotline bling. Sing, sing, sing. On your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And today, Chef Tjaart's in the studio, and he's going to give us a masterclass in deboning, butterflying, stuffing, and stringing a leg of lamb. It's a surprisingly easy technique, I'm told, once you know how, but it can be incredibly daunting if you don't know how. So pay attention, and by the end of this, you should be a master carver in no time at all. And of course, I've also got to say that yesterday was a very special day because it was Tjaart's birthday! Happy belated birthday!
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great to have you here with us. Thanks for making
great to be
time.
here. Absolute pleasure.
So this is something that I have never thought about doing, but now that we are here, I'm interested. And but I thought that the first thing was that you don't debone a leg of lamb because, you know, the bone has the marrow and thus the flavor, and there's just something about, you know, having it like that, just grabbing it by the bone. Why would one want to do that?
So there's different things. I mean, firstly, yes, bone has flavor when you're starting to cook it, but also for long periods of time. But when you're starting to put a roast into an oven, for instance, where the heat is going to penetrate and go to the bone first.
Yes.
But what happens then is obviously starting to heat up the meat, and the meat's going to actually be overcooked, essentially, at the end of the day.
Exactly.
But also, what I want to do is, you know, when you want to put things like stuffing, that's your flavor going back into it.
Yes.
And then, in terms of uniformity, I want it uniform. This is actually not uniform because I've got different densities. If you have a look here, I've got all this meat muscle, and then I've got this ratio of bone to meat here as well. It's going to cook very differently. So I'm not going to have a perfectly cooked leg of lamb.
Okay.
So by deboning it, I'm taking it out, I can make something that's a lot more uniform, so it's going to cook even. The texture is all the same right throughout as well. And, you know, those are the important things when you really come into the technical aspect of it. So, you know, bacon, we always talk about the technicality of things in a massive way. And we forget about that with our meat as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, think of trying to get uniformity throughout it. We can add lots of flavor to it. And there's a little thing inside here that's also very important to remove as well, which I'll show you very shortly.
Let's get to that inside. Right. What are the first steps to...
First place is have a knife that is preferably a actual butchery knife. So it's actually got a very rigid spine to it.
Okay.
All right? So it doesn't move. And then always a nice sharp knife. So just run your knife 5 on each side like that there.
Okay.
Remember, we have a European style knife. Well, most knives are European style, so it's equal sided.
Okay.
Whereas a Japanese knife is, you do 9 strokes on one side and 1 finishing stroke, almost giving you a very acute angle.
Okay.
That's the way we cut. But let's just cut into here.
Now.
So, feel the leg of the lamb and feel the lay of the land. I always say look at the lay of the land. And you've got bone in there and you've got bone on that side there. And somewhere in between here, it's actually line. So all you need to do literally is go in, be confident, and just make an incision. All right?
So go ahead and make an incision where you feel right.
And then open it up and get in there and feel where that bone is lying. Yeah?
Okay.
Feel where that bone is lying there. So
okay, so where the bone goes straight through the meat. There it is. So I'm going to open
this back, and hopefully someone can pick that up there. You can just see that bone there. And what you want to then do is then peel back on the left and the right of that. So down we go, and be bold. Do some really good strokes. Don't sit there going hack, 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 hack. Yeah?
Stroke.
You want to stroke the lamb. Yeah?
You know what they call this in Setswana?
What?
It's called hubua nama. Like, so
hubua nama.
Yeah, exactly. So when there was like traditional ceremonies, and then you'd have like a cow or a sheep that's slaughtered there, then you'd have to like get the skin off of the meat in that same kind of way. Just stroke.
Exactly that same technique. You're following the lay of the land on the outside and going around the legs, going around the buttocks, going along the ribs or whatever it is. And that's exactly what you're going to do here. And now look at that. We're starting to create that butterfly. Exactly. And then what we need to do is just go around there. And then same on this side here as well. Is opening up and going around the leg of lamb.
Wow.
Don't you try and get on the counter and start, moving around. Move Dolly around. Move Dolly about, yeah? And then come back on this side here. Now, your knife angle should always be into the bone.
Yes.
Yeah? Don't worry,
your knife angle should always be into the bone.
Into the bone, because you don't want to cut the flesh. You don't want these like little flaky little bits here at all. So, going through there and working around. If it's not cutting because you're hitting the bone, then just move it back and then work around it. Yeah?
Stroke.
And then same for that side there as well. So here, you can hear I'm going against the bone there.
You just shift it a little bit to
just shift it there, around there. Okay, and then peel back here as well.
So always be moving the lamb around. Don't try and like climb over it.
And it's not that difficult. You need to stick your tongue out either, remember? So what you need to do is, as you're going around there, you can then very carefully again, angle towards the bone. And then you're going to come up, 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 and over.
Wow.
Yeah? And then back down again, and just sort of cutting through there. And there we go.
Wow.
Done. All right?
That's masterful. And now, Sis Princess Spunky will be happy because Spunky now has the leg.
Okay.
That is the
next
bone,
moment. Just have a feel. There's going to be a little bit more bone here, depending how it's all been butchered for you. But this is a beautiful cut here, so I've got a little bit more bone.
So you want to retain as much of the meat as possible.
Oh, absolutely. You want all the meat. You know, you want to keep all that meat in there. So just keep working around like that. Just so you can actually just...
Obviously, when you're doing this for the first time at home, go at a much slower pace than Tjaart. He has deboned quite a few legs of lamb in his lifetime. So the pace at which he's going is incendiary.
Okay. And this was very important here now is you can see I've got a very thin piece and I've got a thick piece.
So now you want to create uniformity.
Is uniformity. So open that out like that. So now we've got a uniform piece. Again,
which means that when it cooks, it'll cook a lot more evenly.
A lot more even, right. There's a little bit more of cartilages to come out here, which I'll take out. But here is the little nemesis.
What is that?
That is a gland. And that actually makes and taints your meat and makes it bitter.
Oh.
So get that up and remove this gland like that. Just make sure you're leaving the meat behind.
What gland is that, by the way?
And basically, it's a you know, we all have glands in our bodies. It's basically one of their fatty glands. But actually, when you cook it, it actually starts to become bitter.
Bitter, okay.
And now you've opened it up there. Feel out the little bits and pieces. I've got a little piece there, but I'm not going to worry about that now. I'll remove that in the break. But that is now opened up. And now you can then fill it up with things which you're going to roll and stuff it. Or you can just roast it like that.
Yes.
But guess what? When you cook that, it's uniform. You're going to get beautiful pink lamb. Lamb, we shouldn't be talking about, you know, is it well done, medium rare, rare. That doesn't really, it should be always pink.
Okay, all right.
So that is how it's deboned.
Deboned and butterflied uniformly a la Chef Tjaart. And when we come back, we'll show you what you can then do with it. We've got a lovely array of spices here. This is very, very exciting. Thank you. Can we take a breather now?
Absolutely.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling. That can only mean
Welcome back to it, the Culinary Hotline Bling.
Sing, sing, sing.
It's a hot thing, and it's happening right now with Chef Tjaart in the kitchen, who earlier on showed us how to debone and butterfly a leg of lamb, and we hope that you were paying attention. And now we're going to learn how to prepare the stuffing for your deboned leg of lamb. And we've got two tasty recipes. What's the first one?
Absolutely. So the first one, just very simple, you know, using seasonal produce. So always look at what's seasonal, and spinach is one of those things that are great things to use, and especially this time of year, it grows like a weed. It just grows profusely.
And it's just
use
crazily nutritious.
Nutritious, and it's so affordable. It really is. So I've got some onions in the pan there that I've just, you know, sweated down in a little bit of oil. You can get a little bit of brown colouring on it. You know, it's entirely up to you. You know, colour is flavour when it comes to that. And then start popping your spinach into here just to start, you know, wilting that down.
Yeah, don't be afraid of the amount of spinach we have in that bowl. It'll wilt down.
Oh, it goes into absolutely next to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, the nice thing with something like with Swiss chard, it keeps its structure a lot better. When you use something like your English spinach, you know, your baby spinach, that wilts down to a higher water content as well. So use something that's robust like this as well.
So it's because of the water content in the leaves?
Much higher. Well, it's baby, it's delicate, so it's, you know, its moisture content is much higher in those sort of stages. This is how you had time to, you know, face the elements and things like that. And then into here as well, you know, a little bit of zest. Remember, just one stroke of the actual zester at the end of the day, please, because you only want to take off the actual zest. You don't want to take off the rind or the pith that we note, which is actually very bitter.
You are speaking to my inner chef right now, because I'm usually the person who goes like, waste not, want not.
No,
so I want to get the most out of it, and I'll be like, just just once.
And then, you know, you do a nice squeeze of lemon juice as well.
Oh, wow.
But I'm going to add this a little bit later on. So you can see that sort of going down. You can pop in a little bit of water if you're in a hurry. Pop a little dash of water, and that will start, you know, reducing very quickly.
Yes.
And then, lastly, a bit of garlic. Now, garlic I always add in later.
Yeah?
That's just slithers of garlic, just, you know, finely sliced.
Yes.
You know, because I want the garlic flavour, you know, to permeate through. When you put it into the onions in the beginning, it actually starts to burn because usually it's much smaller.
Yes.
So bits burn and become bitter. So always add that in a little bit of a later stage like that.
The smell of garlic in a kitchen is always a signature of a good chef for me. It's like, now we're cooking.
Right, so that's going into there little bit by little bit, adding a little bit more. Oh, one's jumping out there.
So this is a Greek-style stuffing that we're making.
Exactly.
SMS the keyword roast to 33728, and then we'll send you the ingredients list as well as a link to the recipe for both the stuffings that we're about to make. What else happens
So
there, sir?
we're going to let that cook off, and then we're going to add the feta in once it's just cooled very slightly, and that's your stuffing. It's simple, quick, and easy.
All right, good stuff.
Right, and then on to one a little bit more extravagant. So this is from my cookbook, Summer Food, and I think the shot of this was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So get a copy of the book and you know, have a look-see.
Beautiful.
But in terms of ingredients, and you can just pop them in as we go there. So
what do we have there?
A little bit of ciabatta cubes there.
Yeah.
That's going to sort of add as a bit of a crumb, to sort of absorb any excess moisture. Garlic cloves.
Yes.
Mint, because mint and lamb are such happy campers together.
Mint and garlic. Okay.
Walnuts.
Yes.
Bringing in texture now. A little bit of fat leaf parsley.
Okay.
And then this. Any idea what that is?
That is, hold on, so it's a cedar sauce. Oh, wow.
So that is za'atar spice. So it's a Middle Eastern.
Za'atar.
Za'atar. So basically it's thyme, sesame seeds, and sumac, which has got a wonderful lemony, citrusy kind of flavour.
Okay.
And if you just pop the lid on that, and we literally are just going to blitz that as you go. So just blitz that into a fairly coarse crumb, but not too much there. So let's just stop that.
Oh,
not too much there.
Not too much.
So more on the pulse sort of setting, little blitz, blitz, to get to the texture that you want. And then let's have a look at that there. You want to make sure the walnuts are broken up a little bit more. You can see the bread's still rather chunky, but I want the texture. Okay. Really important. And the bread as well, so it actually absorbs any excess moisture that comes out of that.
Okay,
so how's that looking? Is that looking good?
Yeah, it's looking good. We've got
there
texture, we've got broken walnuts.
And that's what I want to achieve. So you can see the walnuts. I want the crunch. I've got the bread, as I said, is going to absorb, and all that wonderful spice blend all coming together. But flavour. Think of big, bold flavours.
Yes.
Dolly lives out in the Karoo, right?
Yes.
And it's robust. It's big herbs, it's stones, it's rocks, it's boulders, and it's eating all those wonderful herbaceous things, so it can take flavour. So don't be scared to get some flavour in there, some vumma. So when you start looking at what we've got, bay leaves, thyme, the sumac, rosemary, garlic, it can take those big, powerful, dominant flavours. So get it in there because you want flavour. Flavour is always king when it comes to judging the final profile of your dish.
I've just realised why it is that you call the lamb Dolly. Just ping. Oh my gosh, really? It took me an age.
Good morning.
SMS the keyword roast to 33728 to receive both the recipes of our stuffing that we're making right now. So you said with the Greek style one, you're going to wait until it wilts down, and then you're going to add the cheese at the end.
So I'll do this technique now. I mean, you want to cool it down very slightly.
Okay, so it should be cooled down quite considerably for it to kind of melt away.
Remember, it's not going to. Feta doesn't melt. It's not one of those cheeses that has a good melting property at all. So it's not going to melt away and become all gooey and mozzarella-like at all. So that's quite nice. And you got that wonderful saltiness. I mean, again, if you have lamb that lives by the ocean, also that starts to complement it. So when you start talking about, I mean, like in the UK, you have this beautiful Dorset lamb that lives by the coast and actually tastes of what it's eating, which is grass, which is fed by the salty
by the ocean.
By the ocean. So that becomes a whole sort of discussion topic in itself. But it's that simple. Two gorgeous stuffings in two different textures and flavor profiles.
It smells amazing, and this, of course, another variation. And how many other? Do you have a lot of stuffing recipes in your cookbook?
So there's a couple of other stuffings that I've got coming through as well, which you can just sort of blend and tweak. But above all, yes, you can use the book, and the cookbook's great to use as a reference point. But if you haven't got it, don't worry. Yeah. Think of what the alternatives are. So you haven't got za'atar spice for it. Have you got sumac? Absolutely. Have you got a bit of thyme? You probably got some fresh thyme instead of dried thyme. Doesn't matter. Be confident and just go. But as long as you got the base and the understand what do I want here, I want the texture, I want the bread to absorb the crumbs, I want the flavour of the spice. So add some spice in there. You could start taking things up, maybe go smoked paprika. Yeah. Now you got a wonderful sort of smoky, earthy tone coming to that as well.
All right. So, okay. Yeah. Wow. What a masterclass indeed from Chef Tjaart, and it continues very shortly when then you're going to be teaching us how to string the lamb, right?
We are indeed, absolutely.
Oh, that is something I'm certainly looking forward to. SMS roast to 33728 and we'll send you what you need in terms of the link to the recipe as well as our ingredients so that you can make these wonderful stuffings for your deboned and butterflied leg of lamb.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling. That can only mean
Welcome back to it. It's the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing. kind of thing today. That's what we've been doing with Chef Tjaart. We've learned in our masterclass, the 101, how to debone, how to butterfly a leg of lamb. And then we've also shared some great recipes, 2 of them, a Greek-style stuffing and one especially from Chef Tjaart's book, Summer Food, which has a beautiful crunch and texture to it. What is this spice again you said it was?
Za'atar.
Za'atar. Za'atar. Sounds like Zlatan. Anyway, so now that we've made all those beautiful things, it's time for you to stuff your leg of lamb, to roll it properly and then string it so that you get it ready for the oven. So the question is how to do that properly like the pros do it. This is where the masterclass continues. All right, so
we're going to take our lamb that we've deboned all beautifully, and we've checked that there's no, glands, there's no little bits of, bone or anything like that at all. Now, be very careful. I'm very hesitant to start trimming, the extra bits and pieces, or you think, oh, the skin's overlapping. Remember, what does meat ultimately do in the oven? It shrinks.
Yes.
Yeah? So be very careful to start cutting things away, because when it starts to shrink, and especially the fat's going to act as it cooks. It's going to start rendering and coating your meat, and all this beautiful liquid is going to go down and hopefully get absorbed in by the fibers of the meat. So it sort of coats it and bastes it. It's self-basted ultimately at the end of the day. So be careful not to start trimming off all these little bits of fat as you go.
Quickly, as you flipped it around, I saw the markings that you get at your butcher shop or wherever that happens in the production process. That's okay to cook with?
Absolutely. So it's edible ink, which is absolutely fine. So don't go and cut this off there.
Try and cut that off.
No, absolutely not. And that just basically is telling you the grade of the sheep, and all the details of where it's come from, where it's been reared, and literally
there it says, yeah. Dolly from... No, it doesn't. Okay,
well, you're triple A grade, so the quality is of a very, very high standard.
Yeah.
Still on second class, and then basically that'll give you all its information of where it's been farmed and where Dolly...
Great conversation piece for the table while everyone is enjoying the meat.
All right, so first just have a look at the meat of how it's going to roll up on itself. Again, you want to create that uniformity all the way through, and then you're going to sort of roll it. So you have that whole piece like that. Maybe tuck it a little bit over here.
Yeah.
So just work things out as you go. So
you need like a practice roll.
Well, yeah. Do a little practice roll. Do a little bit of Dr. 90210 as well. Also helps into there. And then a little bit of seasoning. So if I can get you to season the meat, please.
Here we go.
You can do a good sprinkle of salt and pepper. Not because I want saltiness, but because salt brings the flavour of the lamb to life.
See, this is where salt would just be like, I don't know, maybe that makes it more tender in the moment. Okay, there we go. Is that enough? Am I giving it enough salt? That's enough love?
Salt
and
a good pinch of black pepper from there.
Lovely stuff. Okay, that looks good.
Right.
That feels good.
Next to do then, thank you, is the actual stuffing and taking that stuffing. Now, remember, how are you going to roll it? Because you don't want to put stuffing all over it and then start to roll, and it's going to be all over the show there as well. And remember, with that practice run, where's it going to go? So you actually want a whole line, so it almost creates a bit of a swirl. You know, like a Swiss roll?
Yes.
I want that when I slice and carve my lamb.
Okay.
As well with that there. One thing to remember as well, when we cut this a little bit later on, with slicing lamb, always cut against the grain, not with the grain.
Okay.
So if you're going to roast it like this, for instance, where would you sort of typically actually cut?
So if you're going to be rolling it, you're cutting that way.
Okay, so you're going to be cutting that one there, going across the grain there, because it's all running along here.
Yes, exactly.
Now, most people always take the short side and slice there. Let me tell you, having that piece versus a piece cut across there, totally different actual mouthfeel in terms of tenderness to that there. So make sure you know where the lay of the land is. So when you actually come in to cut it, yes, you're going to be slicing it that way.
Across
so if you're going to cook it like that, cut it into thirds and cut there, and then cut on the shorter end like that. Don't be just tempted to cut on the short end because it's easy and you're a bit lazy.
Okay, good. All right.
So taking that stuff in and pop that in there. Now it gets a little bit of a messy affair. It's not the end of the world. Again, press that down a little bit there. All right,
and by doing that, you're probably also just kind of finding those cracks within the sinews that really allows the flavour and the za'atar to penetrate through there.
Right, and then I fold this over, all right? Wow. And then I can put a little bit more stuffing on here as well.
Okay, wow. By the way, SMS the keyword lamb to 33728 will send you a list of the ingredients.
Not too much here because obviously we're going to fold that over there as well. And then you're going to take that piece there, fold that over.
Hello. Oh,
all right.
It's messy.
Right, leave that baby there. Now, string in a little jar or a little whatever. Yeah. Then you're not going to contaminate the string there after all, yeah?
Oh, okay, yes.
Taking a bit of string here, and then with a knife or scissors, however you so wish.
So you're cutting more or less equal lengths of string.
Exactly 53 centimeters in length. No, I'm joking. Anyway, taking your first piece there, right? And then you've got to do a bit of a shimmy underneath there.
That was cool.
And always start from the center and then work the way out. Okay. Yes, you can do obviously a butcher's loop. I'm not going to show you because it's a lot more, complicated. I just want to keep life simple for you at home. And then go over once and then over again.
Yeah.
And then down.
Okay, you just did, okay, you went twice now.
Twice now, okay? Now, don't be tempted to put too tight because obviously remember again it's going to expand a little bit and then contract. So not too tight that you're going to push everything out. And then you can just go over and then create the loop.
Okay, all right,
that was easy enough. Again, going into the middle over here.
Once, twice.
Once, twice over. And
tighten
then
it.
Tighten
and
that
then
up.
a third round once.
And then once only, and then you got your little knot there.
So what is the ideal that you're looking for here?
So again, you want to try and create this uniformity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very important that we get that there. Over, and again, over again like that. Okay. Then what you do with these little extra pieces is just saw them off with your knife. Obviously a sharp knife always helps. And then if you really want, you can do one through the center here as well, just to keep everything together. Again, remember we wanted that wonderful uniformity. Once, twice, done like that. And that just sort of brings everything together. You could put a second one if you so wanted to there. And then the moment to see how really good you are is just roll over.
Oh,
like that.
Look at that.
And look at that
That's
uniformity on there as a whole.
Sheesh.
All right, a little bit of olive oil on the top there. Just massage that. Come on, sprinkle some salt and pepper on here, please.
Okay,
Come on, let's go on here.
There we go. And let that happen. Just let it happen.
All right, and tuck the little bits and pieces in here.
So Dolly's going to go into the oven.
Dolly's going to go in the oven.
For how long?
At about 180 degrees. Now, you ideally want to take the weight of it there. I always say sort of about, you're looking about sort of 35, 40 minutes, depending on how your oven behaves, per kilo.
Okay.
Plus 10.
Okay, per kilo plus 10.
So if say it's a 1.5 kilo kind of leg of lamb, it's going to be just under an hour plus 10 minutes just to sort of cook it off there.
And then you've got to let it rest as well, isn't it?
And then absolutely, so important when it comes out. Because what happens, best way to describe it, if I was to seat you on a really hot pan, what's your ass going to do? Exactly, that's what Dolly's done as well. Now I take you off the pan, what's going to happen? Relax, and that's those fibers. Now, what's very important is when those fibers actually release, you get these little pockets, and that is condensation.
Yeah.
Condensation. When we slice that piece of lamb and these juices run, you go, oh, that's blood running. No, it's not. That's actually your moist, succulent bit going away. Allow that to condense so it absorbs back into the fiber so the meat stays lovely and moist, tender and succulent.
Excellent.
So anyway, let's just go onto a tray there. I line mine with tin foil because guess what? Save cleaning the tray afterwards. Scrunch up the tin foil, chuck that out.
Much easier.
And lice that much more simpler.
Chef Tjaart, thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.
Incredible. Check out that book. It's called Summer Food. SMS lamb to 33728. Wonderful. Beautiful. Let's feast. I'm going to taste some of this because the team got a